people, welcome back to my channel. Oh, it's been a while, I feel, and I wanted to tell you guys why. I don't really feel well. Actually, I'm sorry, let me clarify. See, I'm smiling because I'm very uncomfortable talking about this. I physically feel fine. My hair is a little messed up, but like I physically feel okay. I'm not sick physically, but mentally I don't feel very well, and I wanted to talk about it because why not? I got nothing to hide. And so yeah, I don't feel well because I've lost joy in the things that used to once bring me joy. And we're going to dive in and we're going to talk about it. So you could probably tell in my glasses that I have a little reflection going because I have depression, DSM-5 diagnostic criteria on the screen over here. Now, before I dive into anything, I definitely want to specify, do not ever, under any circumstances, diagnose yourself. Never, ever self-diagnose yourself. Like, it's very easy, please, like, when I was taking all of those psychology classes, and there's still more I probably have to do. It's very easy to listen to what their criteria is and be like, yeah, I have that. But no, okay, when you're in an inpatient facility, and let's say you might have some of these criterias, there is a treatment team that actually goes through everything with the patient. So there's multiple people diagnosing or coming up with a diagnosis. Same if you're outpatient, so that would be me, right? And I'm pointing at myself. And I'm assuming most of you watching would fall into the outpatient category. That too. If you suspect that something's off or you're not feeling very well mentally, you talk to your physician about it, and then they usually tell you to go somewhere else, tell you to see a specialist, or maybe they know a specialist and you can go within the facility. But the point is that there's multiple physicians that work towards a diagnosis, okay? It's not just one person. And sometimes for certain diagnoses, they need to run tests, and they need to go through different types of evaluations in order to get a correct diagnosis and to get the correct treatment. So in both types of settings, there is multiple people working on the patient. It is not one person, and it is not yourself, okay? So I'm going to read off this diagnosis, but do not diagnose yourself based on what I'm reading, okay? That moral of the story, I have to say that. So this is from the DSM-5. This DSM-5 came out in 2013, and I think, there's always room for improvement, but I think that it's great taking these subjective experiences and making them into an objective, factual, accurate, or as close as we're going to get accurate diagnosis. There's always room for improvement, like I said, but I think that they do a really good job. It's crazy. I had to study all the different versions in my abnormal psych class, and yeah, I think I do have photographic memory. I don't talk about it because then people look at you like I'm weird, you're weird, but I think I do have it because I definitely can remember studying all of the different versions, and I can picture it in my mind, the notes. So, when you lose joy in things that once brought you joy, that is one of the signs, or that is an area that sort of has a little depressive, state. I guess that would be correct. It has a depressive tendency. There you go. So here it says that you have to meet at least 5 or more of the criteria within a 2-week period. Okay, so that's key. And for any issue to become a serious diagnosis, it has to affect your regular functioning or your daily functioning. So So the first one that it says here is, it says number 1 is depressed mood. That's pretty darn subjective. Again, you can't categorize that on yourself, okay? And then number 2 is loss of interest or pleasure. That's what I said, right? Loss of interest and pleasure. So then we have, it says depressive mood most of the day or nearly every day. Diminished interest in pleasure. That's number 2. 3 is significant weight loss or weight gain. I think there's one of, anyway, I'm not going to jump into it because remember I have it like memorized. Slowing down of thought or reduction in physical movement. That's number 4. Fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day. That's number 5. Feelings of worthlessness or excessive or inappropriate guilt nearly every day. 6. 7. Diminished ability to think or concentrate, indecisive nearly every day. And then 8 is reoccurring thoughts of death or suicide idealization without a specific plan or suicide attempt, and specific plan for committing suicide. Trigger. Just to let everybody know. To receive a diagnosis of depression, these symptoms must cause the individual clinically significant distress or impairment. This is a key. Significant impairment in social, occupational, or other areas of functioning. That I think is so important to specify here online, because a lot of times, people categorize other people with different diagnoses by watching them or looking at them, and like, you can be sad, you can have a diminished ability to concentrate. That's number 1. Like, that's one symptom, right? You can have that issue, but like, if you're still going to work, you're still successful at work. You're still like living with a roommate, going to school, living with your partner. Everything's fine in that department. You're still hanging out with friends. Then having diminished ability to concentrate doesn't necessarily present itself as a disorder. Now, if you have diminished ability to concentrate and you're going to work and you're not able to concentrate, or you're going to social gatherings and you're not able to concentrate, and then it's harming those areas of your life, that's when it becomes an issue. So I just wanted to specify that you can have a tendency, you can have one of these feelings, and maybe it's not harming your daily functioning. It's important to note, like, don't get me wrong, like, you definitely want to say this to your physician because it could manifest into something else. But if you see somebody online with a certain criteria or meeting something, don't clinically diagnose them, because it might not be affecting their daily life. It probably isn't if they didn't bring it up to their physician. So, anyway, we're not diagnosing ourselves here, okay? But I also don't have any of these. Like, I have one, right? But is it in a 2-week period? Possibly. Yeah, I guess it would fall into that category. But it's not 5. Only one symptom. And I wanted to kind of dive in and talk about why I feel this way, because I think it is important to mention and to clarify that it is not a problem. It's pretty rational. So one of the things that used to bring me a lot of joy was traveling. Gee, I wonder why. Why does traveling not bring me joy anymore? Well, there's lots of restrictions on traveling. That's number 1. And number 2, it's not very safe to use public transportation. I used to use public transportation pretty frequently. I didn't use the bus as often as I kind of wanted to prior to COVID. But I did use the train very, very frequently. And I flew maybe like twice. Flying is expensive. That's why I didn't do it often. But that's my preferred method. Flying's preferred, train second, and then bus is third. So, but I used to use the train all the time. I used to take the big bus if I had to go somewhere far or if I had to go home. I also flew home a few times, which is such a short flight. Obviously, I got a really good deal on that one. That's why I did it, because I didn't even know that they had a flight option. But anyway, the point is that there's a lot of regulations when it comes to traveling, and I think we're getting at the point where, like, we're trying to cope with traveling. Like, from what I've heard, you can, like, ride, you can go on the plane and then they don't have the middle seat filled, which should have been a thing this whole time. Like, because we don't want to be packed like sardines in a flight, okay? We should have had no middle seat this whole entire time. But that's something that they're doing. I think they're doing that on the Amtrak, too, on the train. Not too sure about the bus, though. That's why I haven't done the bus. The local bus, I mean. I'm sure they're doing something on the mega bus, too. But anyway, there's just, like, a lot of regulations and a lot of rules. And not that, like, it's good. It's good to have rules. It is. It just adds an already anxiety-provoking experience. For me, traveling is sometimes anxiety-provoking because I'm always worried I'm going to miss it. I'm always nervous I'm going to miss the flight or miss the train or miss the bus. So I always get there, like, really, really early. And then, like, so there you go. I'm already, like, nervous that I'm not going to get there on time, and then you have to make sure that you're up on the travel restrictions. It just, like, adds another layer, and that's why it doesn't bring me joy like it used to. But I think that's rational. Like, that makes sense. Why don't you want to travel? Well, it's like, it's scary and there's a lot of regulations and, there's a lot of anxiety with traveling now. Now there's, like, an added layer, and I don't really need to travel anywhere. I don't need to travel for my job, So that's another thing. It's just better if it's avoided. And yeah. Second thing that used to bring me joy that doesn't anymore is shopping. And I actually did go, like, shopping because I didn't buy anything, but, like, I did go to the mall and look at things. Got myself in the holiday spirits, and looked around and stuff. But, like, I used to love shopping. Like, I work in a rich town, so I used to love going to the stores and looking at all the, like, expensive stuff and going into Tiffany's and, like, pretending that I could afford these things, even though I clearly can't. But when you dress nice and go to the mall, nobody really knows that you can't afford. But I used to do that, and now this sometimes is hard for people to understand when like the people that work from home, but like I have to go into work in the office, and we're all covered up and stuff, so I don't really want to go shopping after work and continue to be covered up. And kind of the same thing when the gyms opened. Like I went to the gym initially, but like I didn't really want to go because I was already covered up at work. I didn't want to be covered up again after work. So that's one of the reasons why I guess shopping and the gym don't bring me joy anymore. Exercising brings me joy though, like stretching, doing yoga here, going for walks, like that brings me joy. So it's just like going somewhere and wearing a mask after you've already worn a mask. When I went shopping though, because I was home, I didn't have to wear a mask like when I was home, and then I went shopping and wore a mask. That wasn't that bad. Like then I felt joy seeing all the Christmas stuff. But I feel like that's something to mention because I don't hear anybody talking about that. But anyway, so that's kind of how I've been feeling, and you know what? I don't think it's anything to raise awareness. Like it's annoying, but it's temporary, and I know it doesn't really seem like it's temporary, but it, like, in reality, it really is. It's sort of like, what do they say? Your first relationship, usually get over your first relationship, it's halfway through how long the relationship lasted. So if your first relationship lasted 3 years, it usually takes 1.5 years for you to get over that relationship or that person. And it seems like a lot of time, 1.5 years, right? But in the whole scheme of things, 1.5 years in your whole life is not that long. And that's kind of why, what I feel about this. Like, it's, yeah, of course, I lost interest in shopping, and I guess going to the gym, going to the gym and exercising, though, are two different things. So let's not put that in there. But traveling for sure. And yeah, I lost joy for more than 2 weeks. But like, in the whole scheme of things, like, it's not really that long. It's coming up 1 year in March. And 1 year, yet again, is not that long in our whole entire lives. And, you know, even though, like I said, I don't want to wear a mask after work, so I just come home. It's still important that we have that rule, because it's definitely helped here. Masks are mandatory to wear all the time, even if you're going to, like, going and walking outside, walking the dog. Not taking out the trash, but like, if you're walking the dog, you definitely have to wear a mask. And, you know, it's working, you know, it's helping us in this town. So it is, as frustrating as it is important. And the travel restrictions, as frustrating and anxiety provoking as they are, it is really important. And it's only for a little longer. I think, honestly, or at least I am pretending that we're in the home stretch. I don't know if we actually are, but I'm pretending that we are, because it makes me feel a lot better. And I've been doing a lot of other little things too to make myself feel better. One is taking my vitamin D, because clearly I haven't been getting enough from the sun since it sets on the earlier side. So like, that's been helping. And then I've been doing couple more little things, which I am going to show you guys as we continue this journey. So I just wanted to talk and debrief and say what's going on. But I think taking a break from everyone and everything was good, especially since I am more introverted. That is how I reset. And yeah, and you know what? It's okay. It's okay to feel a little funky. It's okay to feel a little weird. It's okay to feel a little sad or unmotivated or no joy. Just don't diagnose yourself with anything. Bring all of these feelings up to a physician for sure, because it might be manifesting something serious and you might need treatment. But in my case, it's just temporary and it's rational. And I'm sure once things go back, or once something changes, you know, maybe the travel won't go back initially, but maybe, you know, going shopping when I'm not working, that will bring back joy in that department. So anyway, that's what's been going on. I hope everybody's doing well otherwise. And yeah, I guess I'll see you a little later. Or another day. I'll see you another day. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you guys later. Bye!